The problem is this, that the exercise in question is loaded with meanings. Meanings that have been created over time by people who think that they're right, as everybody does, essentially. The meanings which seem to hold the fort at the moment are those of a supernaturalist, what you might call even literalist point of view. Unlike the other two main points of view which I am familiar with, which is one in which there's lots of questions, but we haven't really got any hard and fast answers, which would be the point of view that I take, as opposed to the out and out psychological point of view used during I think it was the human potential movement way back in the 1960s. So we got these three loose categories of approach to the subjects. The exercise itself is essentially a seance. And by that, don't panic, okay, it's just a name. By that I mean that we are asking questions of something. What that thing is could be part of the conscious or subconscious mind. It could be to do with your, tribal ancestral memory, as some people would call it. It could be to do with your own understandings or associations between meanings and ideas, or alternatively it could be something else. Now, whether that something else is part of the human collective consciousness, whether it's the Akashic records, or indeed whether it is a spiritual being, either something that was in existence a long time ago, namely someone who was in existence a long time ago, or maybe it's some kind of more elemental type energy, as some people might call it, namely something that wasn't actually incarnate in a human being or in an animal, but was just a form of consciousness which somehow inhabits the spiritual space of the universe, that has been called into existence through meditation, chanting or whatever, and focusing the mind of the operator on some key concepts. Maybe visualization in terms of symbols or colors or ideas, visualization of characters, or trying to build up in your mind's eye a representation of what that particular character could be. This is where we could assume that there is some kind of poetic license which could be having some kind of effect here. Just as people might portray the season of winter as a man with a very long white beard, a very elderly man, maybe wispy and thin in his build and construction. Or maybe we could visualize the spirit of Christmas as being a more sumptuous, broad-bellied individual, as a result of our poetic license and our association between the seasons, or the time of celebration, in that particular example, and how that might manifest itself as a human-like character or personality. So, why don't we try a seance based upon the concept of autumn? Now, I've chosen autumn out of all these suggestions that have been given to me because it's slightly more pleasing, shall we say, to a broad and mixed audience than something a little bit more specific and esoteric. The methods I'm going to be using is one which you yourself could have the capacity to enjoy, namely it has some variety of visual appeal. If it was, of course, just me sitting in the corner meditating, that might seem a little boring for you, okay? But if we use something like the talking board, also known as the Ouija board, then you will have something which you can watch and experience with me, so to speak. So that's what I'm going to do. Remember, the way that the Ouija board or talking board operates, according to scientific theories, is through something called the ideomotor effect, whereby an idea somewhere in the mind affects the physical responses. Now, whether that's from the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, the id, the superego, there's plenty of questions which could be asked there. And maybe at some point in the future, when there's more research done about these things, we could come to some more hard and fast answers. At the moment, we have questions, but we certainly don't have any answers. So, Taking that in mind, and without further ado, let's get straight on and do the seance. Spirit of Autumn, are you with us? Spirit of Autumn, are you with us? Hello. Hello, Spirit of Autumn. Welcome. Can you tell us something about yourself? What is your nature? B. R. I. N. G. Bring. R. E. S. T. Rest. Bring. Rest. Is that all you bring? F. E. A. S. T. Feast. Bring rest, bring feast. Okay. Seems quite pleasant. But is there another aspect to what it is you bring? F. E. A. R. Fear. Fear of what? H. U. Oh dear, pussycat. What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me, eh? We got as far as the letter N. H-U-N. Shall we put our hands back on the planchette and see what else Autumn was trying to tell us? Shall we? Go. G. E. R. Hunger. Suppose that would make sense if we're talking about things like squirrels going to store up their food for the winter. And also humans trying to find new sources of food when things get colder. Is there anything else you can tell us? F. I. R E fire. P A R T fire party. Could that be a reference to Halloween? Bonfire night. The things that we do this season. Thank you for being present, Spirits of Autumn, Spirits of the Fall, and thank you for your message. Goodbye. Well, apart from being disturbed by the cat and deciding to carry on with the experience, I thought that went really rather well. We had some interesting results, interesting ideas coming out there. The message of warmth, the sense of rest, the sense of slowing down, and also a feeling that it's a time for people to gather together to celebrate the season of the autumn that we all seem to do together around about Halloween with bonfire night, with the fireworks we do here in the UK. I don't know what your celebrations are like in America, apart from like a few things I've seen on television. But you know, here in the UK, it's there's still a few very traditional ways of dealing with this one particular season and the encroaching darkness of the winter. So I thought that was quite curious. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, favourite and share. Look after yourself. God bless.